You'll probably like this, even though it's bullshit. You intrude, etc. Killed my mother. You scared her, followed her, threatened her, and made her paranoid to the point she couldn't deal with any longer. I expect to hear a response. And then our automatic response showed. So, I mean, he said, Stephanie True's name here and etc. But I don't know. Yeah, that's just not true.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say what he said again. Read that again.
You intrude, etc. Killed my mother. You scared her, followed her, threatened her, and made her paranoid to the point she couldn't deal with any longer. I expect to hear a response from you.
Now that's
coming and this was coming from her son?
Yes. And this was April 17th.
Let me ask you a question.
Now that's from Andrew. That's coming from Andrew.
You need to tell the truth in life.
Yep, you sure do, Barbecue.
Oh,
stop lying. Stop your damn lying. Go back and refresh our memories. Remember when we asked him if he had a criminal record and he couldn't remember if he had a criminal record? Well, he does have a criminal record. And I don't believe that he doesn't remember. And I believe that that's just one of the lies that he told while he was on my panel. One of many, in my opinion. Let's see. What this one says. This one's the most recent one. But I'm curious about this one. Okay. Guys. This is the criminal record that he did not want to share. And understandably, he did not want to share it. But I think it tells us a little bit more about who he is. But I think it's also important because, Becky Hoover was afraid of these people. And there's a reason why she was afraid of these people. And I think that this criminal record might be part of the reason why she was claiming to be so afraid of these people. So this is his record right here, but at the bottom, you get to the description where it describes what happened. No, that's not on that one. Sorry, not that one. This one, 1999. $2014. Well, that was recent. Okay, so this is 2014. So this is Court of Common Pleas of Blair's County, criminal docket, Andrew John Height, case and event, description, held for court, guilty plea, harassment, subject to other physical contact. So it says the acts committed by the accused are described below, with each act of assembly and or statute allegedly violated if appropriate. When there is more than one offense, each offense should be numbered chronologically, set forth. Wind an additional ADP units were dispatched to 418 We're not going to say the rest of that address for physical domestic between a father and his juvenile daughter. Upon arrival, contact was made with the complaint defendant, Andrew Height, who stated his daughter victim, Mikhail Height, had physically assaulted him. Affidavit was advised by the defendant that he had confronted the victim about her grades in school and her overall attitude while in the resident's living room. He stated that the victim was told that she was not allowed to have her laptop computer until she earned it back by being respectful. The defendant stated that the victim became angry and began to yell at him, stating, "I fucking hate you." The victim and the defendant had a brief verbal argument until the victim attempted to run from the residence. So she tried to flee. The defendant went to grab her arm to prevent her actions, and she punched him in the face multiple times. The victim was to have used a closed fist, open hand, using her nails, and strangled the defendant at this time with both of her hands. The defendant attempted to gain control of the victim. It was at this point they fell to the ground in the kitchen and she hit her head on the floor. During the entirety of the assault, the victim was said to have stated, "I'm going to kill you," multiple times. The defendant stated that the pair eventually parted ways after the fall, and Michaela went to the back of the residence until the officers arrived. Affidavit observed the following injuries on the defendant. His throat had a nail mark with blood coming from it. Left side of his head had multiple nail marks with blood coming from them. Right side of his head and his entire face was red, and underneath both his eyes was swelling and redness. He advised affiant that his face felt like it was on fire. He had redness on his back as well. The victim spoke with affiant about the incident as well as with different accounts of the events. The victim stated that she was watching TV in the resident's living room and was confronted by the defendant about her grades and overall attitude. She stated he got close to her and was yelling in her face. She pushed him away from her when this happened. The defendant was to have then attacked and strangled her around the neck with both hands. The victim used a closed fist to punch the defendant in the face to get him away, according to the victim. She attempted to flee the residence and was tackled by the defendant in the kitchen. He began to smack her head against the ground multiple times, bite her nose with his teeth, smacked her ears with his hands. She was able to get away from him at this point and remain out back of the residence until officers arrived. Affiant observed the following injuries on the victim. Her nose was red and had small puncture marks with blood coming from them, redness and swelling under her left eye, a large bump on the back of her head, and a nail mark on her chest with blood coming from it and redness in the area. The victim advised that she could not hear at all out of her right ear from the altercation. The defendant's stepson, Adam Hamilton, was in the residence during the altercation and offered the same account of events as the defendant. Affiant, after investigating the incidents, concluded that this was a dual domestic arrest. At this time, both parties were handcuffed behind their backs, handcuffs checked for proper spacing and double locked. They were searched incident to the arrest and placed in a marked patrol units for transportation to APD. Once at APD, both parties were searched again, properly logged and placed in a locker. The defendant was placed into an adult holding cell and the victim was placed into a juvenile cell. The victim subsequently stated that her injuries were causing her pain and she wanted AMED. AMED arrived at ADP, transported the victim to UPMC Altoona. Corporal Cruz made contact with Blair County Juvenile Probation, speaking with Tina Frank. Tina will be handling the victim's case from this point. The attorney of Blair County, by this information, charges that on Sunday, the 15th day of June 14th, Andrew Height did commit the crime or the crimes herein of City of Altoona. Count 1, simple assault. He did attempt to cause or intentionally and knowingly recklessly cause bodily injury to another, namely Michaela Oriana Height, all of which constitute simple assault, misdemeanor, and violation of Section 2701 of the Crime Codes. Harassment, strike, shove, kick, etc., with the intent to harass, annoy, alarm another person, namely Michaela or Anna Height, did strike, shove, kick, or otherwise subject such other persons to physical contact or did attempt to threaten to do the same, namely attacked her and strangled her, tackled her in the kitchen where he smacked her head against the ground multiple times, bit her nose with his teeth, and smacked her ears with his hands. This is his own daughter. Do you think that maybe Becky had reason to be afraid of these people?